Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambsosos finally gets announced. But there's some bad news. Teofimo did a lot, been inactive, and is not getting the amount of money that he thought he was getting that he said he was promised. We'll talk about that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Yo, let's jump right into the content. Teofimo, he posted this. It's a flyer. Eddie Hearn has now won and is throwing the Lopez versus Kambsosos Jr. fight. It's a lightweight fight for multiple titles. It's going to be at Madison Square Garden, November 27th. Holiday weekend, you know, right by Thanksgiving. Teofimo's second home, or where he was raised or whatever, is New York. And it says, November 27th, I face Kambsosos live on DAZN. Ticket info coming soon, right? But this is a far cry from what Teofimo, I'm going to jump right into the content, had previously stated, right? Now, actually, let me show you this. So, Teofimo said, it's about dang time, right? And I thought that was almost a weird statement because, and it kind of prompted this video. So you never know how these things are going to work as a content creator. But when I read that, I seen Teofimo, he put, it's about dang time. And truth be told, he's really the person to blame for all the delays, majority of them. Yeah, I know the low-hanging fruit would be to attack TRILLER because they did play a part in the delays. But there's a lot of it, and I'm not going to unpack and uncover everything because I've done it. So it's up to you as boxing participants. And, you know, if you want your news on boxing, the latest, greatest, subscribe to the channel. You know, also, I don't know how you reached this video, but somehow you made it. Throw a like on the video, goes a long way. Reach one, teach one, help others find the content with the simple like on the video. But I'm not going to go in detail about every little thing because there's so much regarding this fight and the TRILLER fallout, if you want to call it that. So the reason why a lot of it has something to do with Teofimo is I like to trace things back to the origins. The origin is Teofimo, in my opinion, got big-headed and he felt he was on top of the world after beating Lomachenko. He was running around telling people he was undisputed, even though we know there's clearly a dispute with Devin Haney. So you had these things like that. Teofimo was also, which I'll get into later in this video, he was talking about he was the cash cow and he's bigger than Gervonta Davis. All these falsehoods, saying he's not going to fight for less than this and his new minimum. Basically, Fat Joe, when he said, yesterday's price is not today's price. How Jadakiss blew up after the Dipset versus Locks battle on Versus, right? That's how Teofimo acted like he was Jadakiss. And that's just what I witnessed. So if you trail this back to the actual origin, this was really Teofimo's doing. He has a situation. He chose Top Rank. He chose Bob Arum. He chose, you know, that platform who works with ESPN. And that's the side of the fence that he was on. But after beating Lomachenko, which was obviously orchestrated by Top Rank and ESPN, and his whole career, that's where I watched him, because I don't even think Teofimo was really relevant, and I don't really remember him on the HBO days when Top Rank had the previous deal with HBO. So it was really Teofimo getting his big boost on Top Rank, and he went against Code. He went against the grain. Him and his dad, David McWaters, and Bob Arum even called him a schmuck and said basically they're tripping. And Bob Arum ultimately gets the last laugh because this whole fiasco has definitely stifled the career of a promising young fighter in Teofimo Lopez, and it has taken a lot of sail out of his ship. That's just the reality of it. How do you go from beating Lomachenko, who was highly regarded, also as a two-time Olympic gold medalist, to being out of the ring over a year and it falters in the worst way? It's not like you're out of the ring, your opponent got injured and stuff. They said you had the Rona, Then, you know, your fight had 5, 6, 7 changes of dates. And then ultimately the company blasted you and said, to hell with it. We done with Teofimo Kambsosos. They're a loss leader. We lost so much money messing with Teofimo. And that to me is damaging to the brand, because that is going against everything that Teofimo has said. He said he convinced those people that he was the most lit, and he got it popping, and everybody is all eyes on him. And even his moniker, the takeover. This looked like the layover. You know, when you go to the airport and then they say, you look on the screen, your flight's supposed to take off at 6 p.m. and then it just say delayed. This ain't the takeover. This is the layover. You've been stuck. And then you're at the airport, you already went through security, right? You already went through TSA, and you're ready to board, but you can't board because the plane's not there. And then they have to deplane the plane when it actually arrives. So is looking more like the layover as opposed to the takeover. And Tio convinced people that he was the end all be all. And his career, as I mentioned, has been completely shot and stifled. And then now he talking about finally it's about time. I mean, it's ironic. But the other thing I want to talk about is Teofimo Lopez and his preconceived notion. And this is why I said at the beginning of the video that it was a bad look. So this is the thing with social media and old media. Social media is a running ledger and almost like a journal, depending on how you use it. So you see people, rappers, or just, you know, people who are in the streets, and they doing crimes and stuff, and instead of just staying low, they have a running tally of what they're doing. Like, they're on probation, but then they're on IG Live with the phone, and they got people and stuff that is not supposed to be in the background because they're on probation or whatever, right? So you end up seeing people tell on themselves via social media, especially with this young generation. Ryan Garcia, he comes to mind. Ryan Garcia will tell you, woo, 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 I'm announcing my fight. I'm announcing my fight. And then they say he's out for the remainder of the year. You know, it's like, what? He'll say he's fighting Pacquiao, but then the business isn't done for the Pacquiao fight, etc. So Teofimo Lopez. We got J-Lo. I gotta bake another one. November 24th, 2020. This is what this man said. So last year, he says $5 million minimums now. So he said his new minimum is 5 M's. Like he's touching the biggest of jackpots, like he Floyd Mayweather or something. 5 million minimum now. And this is only the beginning. Soon, I'll shoot for 20 million minimums. Take a lesson out of my book. So not only is he this is after he beat Lomachenko, because he fought, if I'm not mistaken, Lomachenko in October, and this is the next month. So he got big-headed in 1 month, one fight in 1 month. I don't know who gassed him and who said that, but he says, then I'm gonna shoot for $20 million minimums. Take a lesson out of my book. So he said he wrote the book. He the author. In order to make the big dollars, you have to take risks. The takeover, right? And this is what he was saying. And I made videos about it back then. When we found out that he was semi-beefing with Top Rank and it was going to purse bid, I was like, man, watch out, Bob. Bob Arum has been in the business of boxing longer than Teofimo has been alive on this planet. He been around longer than I've been on this planet. You know, I'm older than Teo, you know what I mean? And Bob Arum been around since the 60s. I told you. Y'all said I didn't know what I was talking about. So let's do the math. Teofimo last year said he's doing 5 million minimums. Triller just defaulted, and now he's going on DAZN. Again, the runner-up bidder outside of his home network. So he did all this fracas and created all this turmoil at one point with Top Rank, and was going against Todd DeBuff and talking back to Top Rank, his actual home, to only later amend his contract with Top Rank and for Triller to default. So let's take a deeper look into it. He said $5 million minimums. Triller, this is when they won the purse bid. February 25th. Wow. And Teofimo, we're closer to February 25th, 2020 than we are anything else. You see what I'm saying? It's October and he still ain't been in the ring. So they won. And it says Triller, they won a bid with almost 6.1 million, blah, 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 6.018, right? Eddie Hearn did the next highest. And we know Triller's out the picture. The $6 million they said they can pay, for whatever reason, they bowed out, they out the game. So that leaves it to the runner-up bidder, $3.56 million, right? And then Top Rank bid $2.31 million. Teofimo gets a 65% split, as this is a mandatory fight. 65-35 is the split. So we do the math, 65% of the winning bid, which is $3.5 million, and Teo is gonna make 2.2 and some change. And then 50% of that will be taxed anyway, because that's just the reality of taxes. So that's not what Teo, had he stayed put with Bob Arum, he was gonna get probably high 1.75 million, maybe 2, whatever, if it did before the purse bid. So realistically, this is what I told you from the beginning. The great Ego Stradamus strikes again. I told you Teo wasn't getting a $5 million minimum. And then it looked like he came pretty close with the Triller bid. But now we see, and that's another reason why we're revisiting it. Now we see that King Ego, the god of boxing talk, was absolutely correct. Ego Stradamus was right. He's not getting that. So this was a pipe dream in hindsight, looking at it all. And this is what I told you before any of this. So he's not getting $5 million. And this is all just to keep up with guys like Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin Haney. And that's a separate video, but he said he make more than Devin Haney. That's a lie. Devin Haney got $1 million to fight on the KSI Logan Paul card in 2019. Devin Haney got over like $1 million for just that fight, right? Teofimo got $1 million something to fight Lomachenko for unification. There's levels to it. So I had to revisit it. He said he was getting $5 million minimums. We know that's not true, especially with Triller. Their crazy bid not now being in the fold, and now the fight is going to be on the Matchroom Boxing in DAZN. So they have the runner-up bid. So it is what it is. Teofimo is way off. And again, the irony of it all is, at the end of the day, he could have just stayed put in Top Rank and got similar money and not created this friction and had this public display where everyone can jump in and whatnot. Had he just stayed put, him and David McWaters, T.O. Sr. and stuff, they could have just stayed on Top Rank, and ESPN had no friction and made very similar money to what he's getting. Now he off platform, Devin Haney running up on him. Oh, it's a bad look. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I'm the greatest.